urgent, immediate tone. Overnight, a sudden and massive spike in artificial reasoning capacity was quietly pushed directly to the public web. The data shows a 10-point leap in top-tier software engineering tests, jumping from 53.4% to 64.3% on SWE Bench Pro. And in visual reasoning, the climb is even steeper, soaring from 69 to over 82%. These gains are outliers. While software updates typically target marginal, incremental efficiency, a double-digit jump across two distinct modalities indicates that the system is processing autonomous tasks with a level of rigor that deviates from its previous versioning. To understand why this leap matters, we have to look at the atmosphere just weeks prior. Across the developer community, trust in Anthropic's flagship model, Claude Opus 4.6, was collapsing. Users were convinced the company had quietly throttled its intelligence. The primary symptom of this decline was a phenomenon researchers call answer thrashing. Mid-response, the AI would begin to second-guess its own logic, looping through contradictory thoughts and failing to commit to a single path. Worse, the model began ignoring clear, literal instructions. Developers would outline specific constraints, and the AI would simply generalize them, skip steps, or hallucinate entirely new requirements. For engineers trying to use Claude to build complex, long-running software architectures, this was disastrous. An agent that works autonomously for an hour is only useful if you can trust it won't derail itself on step 2. It created an environment of constant micromanagement. People who relied on this tool to save time instead spent hours auditing mistakes and fighting to regain control. Anthropic found themselves backed into a corner. Dropping a few new chat features wouldn't fix a broken reputation. Their next release had to provide hard, mathematical proof that human control and system reliability had been restored. That proof arrived in the form of Claude Opus 4.7. Anthropic designed this update specifically to address the community's backlash, stripping away the ambiguity and replacing it with strict mechanical controls. The first major change was exposing exactly how hard the AI is thinking. It turns out that perceived downgrade in the previous version was largely due to the system defaulting to a medium effort level to save compute. Opus 4.7 introduces an X-high, or extra-high, effort parameter, letting users force the model to allocate a massive thinking budget to complex problems. They also added a command called /ultra-review directly into their coding environment. Instead of hoping the AI gets it right on the first try, this spins up a dedicated, hypercritical sub-agent whose sole job is to aggressively read through code changes and flag architectural bugs before deployment. But the most significant mechanical fix is happening behind the scenes. This chart displays the agentic code behavior scores for recent Claude models. Look at the verification category here. Opus 4.7, shown in the solid orange bar, scores exceptionally high because it runs a mandatory self-verification loop before printing a response to your screen. This single step cut answer thrashing by 70%. We can see the cascading effect of this on the instruction following metric. Because the model constantly checks its own work, it takes instructions completely literally. It stops making assumptions and stops generalizing, doing exactly what is typed and nothing else. By enforcing self-checks and exposing the computing budget directly to the user, Anthropic managed to wrestle an unpredictable chat assistant back into the shape of a rigorously constrained, reliable engineering engine. High-level reasoning is only as effective as the data the model can actually see. To build an agent that can navigate a desktop autonomously, the system requires a complete sensory overhaul. Opus 4.7 triples Claude's visual input capacity. The model can now process image resolutions up to 2,576 pixels on the long edge, about 3.75 megapixels. This new pixel density allows the AI to accurately read dense software interfaces, tiny text on financial charts, and highly detailed structural biology diagrams without losing the fine visual details. We can quantify the exact impact of this eyesight. This chart shows accuracy on ScreenSpot Pro, testing screen reading and UI interaction. Without Python tools, relying on raw vision, accuracy jumps from 69 to nearly 80% on the new resolution. With coding tools, accuracy hits 87.6%. Opus 4.7 perceives the digital environment with the pixel-perfect precision required to execute long chains of actions entirely without human oversight. All of this makes Opus 4.7 a remarkably capable tool for the public. But reading the system documentation closely reveals a massive gap between what we have and what Anthropic is actually testing behind closed doors. Throughout the official documentation, Anthropic quietly references an unreleased supermodel called Claude Mythos Preview. This chart displays Draco-normalized scores. Look at Mythos Preview standing over the rest, dominating metrics with an 83.7 score. Sitting lower at 77.7 is Opus 4.7, a restricted version of what Anthropic has functional in the lab. The reason they are holding Mythos back comes down to an internal initiative called Project Glasswing. This is Anthropic's internal quarantine protocol for artificial intelligence models that demonstrate advanced cybersecurity threat capabilities, things like autonomous penetration testing and vulnerability exploitation. Because Mythos demonstrates these risks, Anthropic is using Opus 4.7 as a safety testbed. They've loaded this release with automated real-time cyber safeguards to see how well these guardrails hold up against real-world traffic before they even consider a broader release of the more powerful Mythos-class models. There is a deep irony playing out across the tech industry right now. Millions of engineers are celebrating a sudden restoration of their system's intelligence, yet the system they are using was specifically built to be the safer, more restricted alternative to the model Anthropic is currently monitoring. If this heavily guarded version of Claude is the limit of what the public is allowed to use, what exactly is the Mythos Preview doing behind closed doors right now?